2 short messages. No photos. No videos. No grand speeches. Yet on January 1st, 2026, Xiao Zhan and Wong Iba turned Weibo into an emotional epicenter. And fans around the world felt something shift at the very start of the year. The first morning of 2026 arrived quietly. Fireworks had faded. Stages were empty. The noise of celebration had finally settled into silence. And then, without warning, Xiao Zhan appeared online. No countdown, no dramatic caption, just 5 simple characters posted on Weibo. 2026 go. That was all. Yet within seconds, the message began to spread. Fans stared at the screen, rereading it again and again. Because in its simplicity, it carried weight. Go. Not rush. Not prove. Just move forward. For many, it felt deeply personal. Like a reminder whispered rather than shouted. A quiet push after a long, exhausting journey. Xiao Zhan has always been known for restraint, for choosing calm over noise. And this message reflected exactly that. There was no explanation attached, no promise of what would come next, only a sense of readiness. And perhaps that's why it resonated so strongly. Because it didn't demand attention, it invited reflection. As comments flooded in from fans across Asia, Europe, the Americas, and beyond, a shared emotion surfaced. Hope. Steady, grounded hope. But the story didn't end there. Because just as the world was still absorbing Xiao Zhan's words, another name appeared on Weibo. Wong Iba's message arrived on the same day. Equally simple, yet emotionally distinct. 2026, let's move forward together. No extra lines, no embellishment, but the tone was unmistakable. This wasn't just a statement. It was an invitation, where Xiao Zhan's message felt like an inner resolve. Wang Yibo's felt outward, reaching. The word together struck a chord instantly. Fans felt seen, included, acknowledged. It didn't sound like a superstar speaking down to his audience. It sounded like a companion walking alongside them. Reactions poured in at lightning speed. Screens filled with translations, reposts, and emotional responses. Some fans wrote about their fears entering a new year. Others talked about strength, recovery, and starting again. And then, something subtle but powerful happened. The 2 messages were placed side by fans themselves. Not by media coordination, not by promotion, but by emotional logic. 2026, go. 2026, let's move forward together. 1 step forward, 1 hand extended, different voices. Same moment. As the hours passed, the emotional aftershock only grew stronger. What surprised many fans was not how fast the messages went viral, but how deeply they settled. Across different time zones, people woke up, checked their phones, and found themselves pausing longer than usual. Not scrolling past, not liking automatically, but reading, feeling. For international fans, especially those far removed from Chinese platforms, these Weibo posts felt intimate, like being allowed into a quiet moment usually kept private. There were no perfect photos to analyze, no outfits to praise, no stages to compare, only words. And in fandom culture, words can be powerful. Xiao Zhan's 2026 Go was interpreted in countless ways. Some saw determination, others saw calm courage. Many felt it as an unspoken acknowledgement of the past. Without reopening it, it didn't dwell, it didn't explain, it moved forward. Wang Yibo's "Let's move forward together" added a different emotional layer. It softened the journey. It transformed movement into companionship. Fans began sharing personal stories under reposts. About starting over. About choosing to keep going despite fear. About wanting to believe that the next step, however small, still mattered. What made this moment extraordinary was that neither artist asked for this reaction. They didn't frame their words as motivational quotes. They simply spoke. And sometimes, that honesty lands harder than any performance. As discussions continued, one pattern became clear. This wasn't about pairing. It wasn't about nostalgia. And it wasn't about projecting stories that weren't there. It was about timing. The world had entered 2026 carrying exhaustion, uncertainty, and quiet hope. And in that fragile emotional space, Two brief messages felt like anchors. Fans began describing the contrast in poetic ways. Xiao Zhan felt like standing still, choosing direction. Wong Iba felt like taking that direction with someone beside you. Not louder, not faster, just steadier. Entertainment media noted how unusual this was. In an industry driven by visibility, silence became the loudest statement. No collaborations were teased. No future plans hinted, yet the emotional connection felt complete. This moment didn't demand attention. It earned it. And perhaps that's why it resonated most with older fans. Those who had followed long journeys. Those who understood growth not as explosion, but as endurance. The absence of spectacle became the point, because it reflected maturity, choice, control. Two artists, confident enough to let simplicity speak. As the first day of 2026 came to an end, the emotional tone shifted from excitement to reflection. The messages were still being shared, but now with softer captions, quieter words. Xiao Zhan's message became a personal mantra for many, a reminder that forward motion doesn't require noise, just intention. Wong Iba's words lingered like reassurance, that even when paths feel solitary, connection can still exist. Together, without being together. They offered something rare, not a promise of what's coming, not a guarantee of ease, but permission. Permission to move at your own pace. Permission to carry others with you emotionally. Permission to begin again without explaining yourself. And maybe that's why fans felt so deeply touched. Because in a world constantly asking for more content, more drama, more certainty, this moment asked for nothing at all. It simply existed. As 2026 continues to unfold, these messages remain as a quiet starting point. Not a headline chasing attention, but a feeling that stays. Sometimes the most powerful beginnings are the ones that arrive softly and stay with us long after the screen goes dark.